Hi guys, it's Kerri-Ann Briggs and I've got a video today for you using the new Apple Blossom embossing folder. Now this is Butterflies and Flourish. It's from the All Occasions Spring collection, and obviously if you've had some of CraftStash's Apple Blossom folders and other folders before, you'll recognise the design because it is part of that embossing folder range. So you can mix and match it with your other embossing folders if you've got them too. Now, what I love about this one is that you can use it in different ways. Because of the way the butterflies are flying, you can have it sideways, you can have it upside down if you want, because you'll always find that the butterflies flow in different ways, which makes it a really, really great folder to use. Now, there's lots of different ways you can use the folder. You can ink it up, you can run it through plain. I've just been using plain white card, and I've just been popping it inside the embossing folder like so. And then once I've run it through my die cut machine, I've been using my Sizzix Express and also my Gemini. What you will find is you will get this gorgeous deep embossing. Now, I don't know how well you can see this on the screen, but it is absolutely gorgeous, really deep embossing. You've got the indentation there of the dots, which I think is fantastic, but if you want to trim it down, you can use the deboss side as well, but you just get a really, really lovely, gorgeous effect. So I've done lots of cuts and lots of embossing with the folder on white card, on mirror board, on all sorts of different textures, and this project just shows you my favourite finished item that I created. So I will add some photos of some other project ideas at the end of the video, but this was the favourite one that I had. So what I did was I started with a plain white one like this, and then I cut a couple of them. So I think in the end I keep saying cut, I embossed a few of them. So in the end I embossed 3 different ones so that I could use them in different ways. Now, so the first thing that I needed was to trim it down slightly. So I've given it a slight trim, and I have got an extra piece there and got myself a matte layer. So I think I trimmed it down to about 14.5 centimetres, and then the outer I did 15 centimetres. Now, the reason that I wanted to do that was just so that it's easier to fit onto a card size blank that I've got to hand. Obviously, you can work with these in lots of different card sizes, so it's completely up to you. And the next thing that I did was I got my Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. Now, I love this colour. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous colour. And all I've been doing is just taking a tiny bit on the edge of my fingers and just rubbing over slightly. Now, the reason why I'm doing it on my finger rather than on a sponge is because when I was doing it with a sponge, I was finding that I was getting a really, really full coverage. Whereas for this technique, I just wanted it to just highlight the top of the embossing. Now, I have done a card, which I will add at the end in photos, where I've used a sponge and I've used a pink Nuvo Mousse. Now, for that one, I did use a sponge and I covered the whole piece of white card, and it looked gorgeous. It really took on the embossing. Now, hopefully, you can start to see that shimmer and shine coming on there, catching the embossing. So I really, really love using these mousses onto the folder. Now, the great thing is there is dies, I believe, and stamps that will go with this collection, so you'll be able to find it all on the CraftStash website, and it all sort of works together. Unfortunately, I've only got this one at the moment, so I think I might have to hop on and do a bit of shopping to get myself some of the coordinating bits and pieces that go with it. There we go. So that's all I want for now. I just want that little shimmer, so a little bit just to highlight the embossing. And I don't mind where it goes in or on the top, I just wanted that little shimmer. That's the great thing about using this light coloured. Let's have a look, what colour is this one? This is called Powder Blue, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So now that really sets off the blue when I put it on the matte and layering there. Okay, so once I did that, what I did was take one of the other pieces and I trimmed down just this portion here. Now, the reason that I did that is because I wanted to have a sort of a bit of depth to the next stage that I did. So here's it pre-cut. Now, I started thinking about layering on top like that because I quite liked the interlink way, but then the next idea I came up with was using my Nuvo drops. Now I'm just going to move that one to the side. I use the Nuvo drop again. This one is duck egg blue. And because you've got that gorgeous indentation, I just used it to start filling in the spots. Now the great thing is, it makes it so much easier to get even Nuvo drops because you've already got the indentation there. So it just looks absolutely wonderful. Hopefully you can see how wonderful that looks. And then when it's dry, you'll get something that looks a bit like that. So all ready to go now. And all you need to do is just make sure that you put it the right way up, because otherwise you'll get a little trim there, which I noticed when I was playing around. So it's that way up to make sure it fits. So I've just cut 2 of those, and then I'm going to layer that on. And I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to put that on with. Let's have a look, see what I can do here. So if I pop some double-sided tape, you could use glue if you wanted to. Tacky glue would be a good one to use at this stage. If you wanted to add a bit of depth, you could use some foam pads. That would give you a good effect to have it raised slightly. So let's see if I can get this tape off and start to build the card up. Then you'll start to see where it is I'm going with the idea. I wanted it quite simple. I think it looks quite nice, quite simple. I got that the right way? Yep, there we go. So just pop that down. So I didn't want it to be too raised because of the next stage of the idea that I've got. I just wanted it to be on the top like that. So far we've got something a bit like this. Okay, so the next stage that I wanted to do was take the pieces that I had left over. So again, that's what it was. Trimmed it down and I had those 2 left. And then I cut out some of the butterflies. So when I cut them out, rather than you watch me fussy cut, I've got them here. They ended up looking a bit like that. So I didn't keep the full detail of the antennae there, I just trimmed them right down. Okay, so I've got a selection of them here. I don't know if you're able to see them against the white table. And then the next thing I did was I took this piece of card, and rather than waste the inner part, because I hate waste, I took my butterfly die and I cut myself some butterflies. Now this is just a general butterfly die. You'll find them on the CraftStash website, a very basic one. So I cut a few of those out and I ended up with a beautiful butterfly that looks like that. So when I put it all together, what you'll start to see is you'll get the layering there like that, and then I just slightly bend in the butterfly wings and take one of my, these are clear pads, so you could use white ones or clear ones, whichever you want to use. And I'm just going to pop that one just there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the butterflies that I've cut out, and I think rather than using a foam pad for this, so that I can be a bit more precise, I'm just going to take some tacky glue, and I'm just going to dip my brush in it because I know that I can never get the nozzle to work when I'm on camera. So I'm just going to dip it in like that, and then I'm just going to give it a bit of a bend and pop it on the top of the butterfly, because I just think that works really well on the top there like that. And then again, foam pads is a nice way of getting these to stand up 3D, but I think I'm just going to go for it just as they are, and I'm just going to put a bit of tacky glue and then dot them around with the wings pointing up. So I'm just going to add a couple more of the butterflies, matching them up to the same style of butterfly. There we go, a bit more tacky glue. As I say, foam pads would give it a bit more depth, but I just like to bend the wings up and pop in the tacky glue on the edge. Now another great thing would be if you could get one of the coordinating stamp sentiments, or you've got one of the dies, you could put a nice sentiment just down the bottom here, and again that gorgeous bluey colour would work really well. But for me, I just think that's a perfect card now, because I can send that to anyone for any occasion. It could be birthday, it could be a thank you or a get well. I just think this folder is so brilliant for all sorts of different reasons, and there's lots of ways that you can use it. So there's just one idea that I've had using the folder, and what I'll do is I'll add some photos now for you so you can see some of the other ideas and other projects that I made. So as I say, this will be available on the website now. the Apple Blossom Butterflies and Flourish All Occasion Spring Collection embossing folder. Thanks for watching and have a great day.